This is Quentin with Lawn Care Accelerator, and it is August 17th, and we are here with Chris Hagerman of No Mo Worries Lawn Care in Aurora, Colorado. How are you doing, Chris?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. So Chris actually reached out to me on YouTube, commented on one of my videos and said that he was out in Aurora, and told him to shoot me a DM on Instagram, and just kind of went from there. Ended up meeting him for the first time about 5 days ago on Friday, and did a video with him. Kind of saw his setup, watched him mow a yard. I just thought he was really efficient, and he definitely knows what he's doing. And so, we're going to start this one off with a would you rather question. So you're not going to see these. You're going to touch one, and you're going to pick a card. I don't want to say you're going to touch one. You're going to pick a card.
Okay.
Don't look at it, and
Okay.
I'll read it to you.
Okay.
So any card that you want. All right. So we're going to go with that one. All right. This might be kind of a good one. Would you rather have unlimited pizza for life or have unlimited tacos for life?
Are they homemade tacos? Are they made from a
It
Hispanic?
doesn't say, unfortunately. So it can be whatever
Any taco or any
taco.
pizza?
Yeah, any
Probably tacos.
tacos.
Yeah, street tacos, some nice steak.
Street tacos, huh?
Yeah, I love Mexican food.
I love Mexican food, too.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
probably something I could eat every
With
day
some
for the rest of my
lime
life.
and...
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
What about pineapple on pizza? Yay or nay?
Honestly, for me, I can eat anything, so I'll eat it.
I'm not a fan.
It's not one of those things where it's like you're a terrible person if you put pineapple on your pizza, but
You are.
but at the same time, like I don't think it's normal, but I don't think it's the end of
It's
the
not
world.
normal. But yeah, I would probably go with tacos too. Pizza, I think I could get sick of pizza. But tacos, there's just so many varieties of tacos you could get.
Yeah,
Fish,
and are they more healthier?
probably. It's got lettuce.
I mean, it makes sense.
You don't have all the oil and grease and pepperoni and cheese and bread and crust.
Yeah, and they're quicker to cook.
Yeah. Yeah. You
But I mean, with pizza, you can just microwave it. I don't know, but yeah. Anyways, tacos
yeah,
for sure.
Cool. All right. So yeah, you are with No Mo Worries Lawn Care out in Aurora, Colorado. So go ahead and tell me a little bit about yourself, like how you got started in this business, why you chose lawn care, and we'll just kind of go from there.
Yeah. So I'm 22 years old, and I started my company back in 2020. And how it started was I moved to Colorado the beginning of 2020. I moved in with my dad. I said, hey, I'm just going to work and try to figure it out. So I started with the moving company, left that. Then I worked for Amazon, left that. And then for the summer, I ended up getting a job mowing lawns for a guy. He was an owner-operator, so the owner was in the field. I got to work with him. And he had another crew. So he had another crew, and then there was me and him and then one other guy. And we were mowing probably 35 to 40 lawns a day on average. Just
Each crew or total?
Each crew.
Okay.
And so at the time, I didn't go to school. I didn't do any of that. I got accepted to the whole 4-year degree thing, but I ended up not doing it because it just cost way too much. So during this time, I was 20, and so we're just mowing lawns. And I started thinking, like, I needed to figure out, like, my path in life. Like, I need to figure out what I'm going to do. Because I told my dad I only had 2 years. To live with him. So I had to figure it out quick. I tried real estate. I was going to be an agent. I was going to do some other things, but then ended up doing the whole lawn care thing. And so what had happened was we're mowing lawns, and I noticed that there's a lot of customers that would come out potential customers, I guess, would come on and ask for lawn care services, and he would decline their business. And at the time, I was doing a ton of personal development, like just business, setting goals, stuff like that. And I saw like, okay, so there's demand and we are the supply. There's a lack of supply, so the demand is there. So through my personal development and all that stuff, it just made sense. Okay, well, I'm going to start a business. Like I didn't really have, like I knew I wanted to own a business, but I wasn't like an entrepreneur, like nerd or guru about it. Like it didn't come off that way. So I didn't really think twice about it. I just went up to my dad. I was like, yo, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start a lawn care business. I don't know how. I don't know. Like, I don't even have the equipment, don't even have the vehicle. I was driving like a little Honda car at the time.
I've seen some people with some pretty ghetto outfits with, you know, small cars and all their stuff is in the back.
Yeah, and I didn't start with a car, but my point is like I had nothing.
Yeah.
And so when I told him like, hey, this is what I'm going to do, he's like, okay, cool, whatever, right? And so
was he supportive?
Yeah.
Okay.
He wasn't like, oh my gosh, go do this right now, but he also wasn't like, are you sure, like you should do this and that, whatever. But he did question me. He's like, so how are you going to do this and how are you going to do that? But he definitely wasn't like against the whole entrepreneur thing.
He was just making sure you knew what you were getting into.
Exactly. Yep. So I was like, I don't know, but I'm just going to give it a shot. So sold the car, bought the truck, bought the trailer. All this stuff was used. Facebook Marketplace, got all my equipment there, used mower, used weed trimmer, blower, all that stuff. And as I'm mowing for this guy, I started it in July 2020. And on the weekend, I just posted a thing on Facebook and a thing on Nextdoor, like, hey, I'm mowing lawns. I can come help, whatever, when they're asking to get their lawn mowed. So that's kind of how I started. Ended up getting to around 10 customers that year of 2020, and I would schedule them all on Saturday and Sunday, obviously, because I'm working during the week, mowing Monday through Friday. So that's kind of how I started. And then as the year went on, stayed around 10 customers until the end of season. So I didn't like depart from him. And so since it is a seasonal job, he, slowly got laid off. And then I went full time in 2021. So that's kind of how I got started. I worked for someone, saw there was demand, and started my own business.
So a couple questions. When you were working with someone, being 20 years old, can I ask how much you were making working for him?
Yeah, so I was making $15 an hour. We were actually subcontractors. So he was doing it illegally, per se. We weren't W-2. So the way that he pitched that to us was like, well, if you don't add the tax, then you're technically making, $17.50, right? That's the way he, if we're not paying tax on that. But yeah, $15 an hour. And then guys that had been there longer, they were making $17 an hour. But I started at, gosh, what was it? I think I started at 15 and then he raised me to 17 like halfway through or something. One of those deals, but it wasn't anything significant.
So you were making 17 Monday through Friday.
Yep.
Mowing 10 customers a week.
Yep. On
Saturday and Sunday.
Yep.
And how much were you making with those 10
Yeah,
customers?
so a lot of my pricing was based off of his pricing, and a lot of his yards were $25, $30. $30 lawn, super huge lawn. Like, it was crazy to me now that I'm like in the numbers of things. Like, yeah. I don't know how you're doing this, but so everything to me was $25. So I was making a couple $100 on the weekend.
It's about $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
Extra.
Ish. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of the money that I made, I just reinvested. Just everything reinvested back in the company. Looking back at it, I didn't realize how much I actually spent on the business. Tens of thousands of dollars looking back at it now. But obviously I didn't see all of that in the bank account at once. I just kept buying things over and over and over. and then I got new equipment and stuff like that. But yeah, I was making a couple of $1,000 a month, and instead of spending that, I just invested it in my own self, I guess you could say.
All right, so that was the end of 2020.
Yep.
And what did you do for the winter of 2020 into 2021?
Yep. So that time I actually started working for Amazon, delivery driver from like, I think December to February, March, April, to like April, my first year. So like I was super late into the game with spring, because I didn't know the transition periods of like, when do I start mowing? When do I start aerating, right? Like that, it was tricky back then. And I can't just call up my old boss and be like, hey, when did you do it? Oh, okay. Yeah. So I worked for Amazon for a bit, and then I started getting a bunch of calls, and like I started seeing like, oh snap, I need to
calls for no mow worries, lawn
for
care.
My business. Okay. I was like, snap, I need to put in my 2 weeks and get back out there. So yeah, for the winter I did snow removal for my aunt, and just when it stormed, but primarily delivery driver for Amazon.
Okay, so business started coming in, calls started coming in. Where were these calls coming from?
Yep. So a lot, like the way I started around, because of nutrition, or attrition rather, I lost out of the 10, I lost like 4 or 5 of them. So I only had a handful to start with. Mm-hmm. And the way that I was able to get all my business going in a month, I say in a month because I literally blew up in a month. I went from like couple $100 a month to thousands in a month, and that was through Nextdoor.
Okay.
So what I would do is go to the search bar, I would type in lawn care, and everyone's like, need mowing, who do I recommend? I would literally sit there every day. Hi, I'm Chris with No More Worries. I'm 22 or 21 at the time, 20, whatever, and I can come mow your lawn. And I just literally post on everyone, just canvas the whole app through lawn mowing, lawn care, just all the search terms. And just my phone, I just blew up like that.
So Nextdoor, you can actually, like, you're not in a broad area within Nextdoor, right? You can
just my neighborhood.
Just your neighborhood. So you're not driving, way up north to like North Glen or something to cut a $25 lawn and losing money.
Yep. So because I learned from a veteran, he'd been in the game for, at the time, was 19 seasons. And I picked his brain behind the scenes. He didn't know I was starting my company, but I would ask him, how did you get started? How come you do it this way? How, do you pay someone to do door to door, or do you do the door hangers? I just picked his brain on everything. How come 21 inch and not 30 inch? How come you don't do card on file? And because I was doing that in my business, right? I was like, trying to get people a card on file, and he would tell me like, oh, people don't like that. I'm like, are you sure? Like, because I'm doing it, but I couldn't tell him because he was one of those people where I'm competition to him. And so all that being said is like everything we did and with his business, I just did in mine. So super route dense. I learned that from him. So going back to like going, 15 miles away just to cut a lawn, I didn't take on those jobs because I knew I needed it to be here, like in this area that I had.
So it sounds like it was a good experience working for him.
Yeah.
Like you got along with him, everything was fine and all that stuff.
Yeah, super awesome guy.
Okay.
Like he doesn't know it, but he did change my life in that aspect. But it's one of those things I can't sadly like hang out with him or do anything because it is this rivalry. But anyone who's starting a lawn care company or anything really, I would say go work for someone, get the experience, get the knowledge, and then go off on your own.
Do you think someone who does that should be upfront with their intentions?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could. The reason why I didn't is because when we saw someone that used to work for him and we just drove past him, or like we saw their yard sign, by the stop sign, like he literally would stop, tell his worker to go and grab the sign and pull it in the truck. Like it was, I'm like, oh gosh, I don't want to be that.
Thievery.
Like, yeah, like he literally took their sign off. I'm like, why would you like, to me, I'm like, wow. And when we would see people that used to work for him, he'd be like, oh, they screwed me over. So I'm like, I'm not going to tell you my plan. But he ended up actually finding out because I had my sign on my truck, and he drove by my dad's house, took a picture of it, sent it to me.
Texted it to
me. He's like,
oh my gosh.
He's like, oh, that was fast, right? I already had it going. So like, yeah. So yeah, I would, if your employer, if you have the connection, you're able to tell them, hey, my intentions are, I do want to do this for myself. You know, I'm just learning from you. I'll do this for whatever. But if you can't, then I mean, I don't know. But I would ideally, in a perfect world, I would let them know. But I just couldn't risk losing my job because of that.
Yeah, my view on it would be, you know, this is my 3rd year in business. And it's changed my life, and it's changed your life too. And if someone came to me wanting to learn the business and just work with me for a season, I would teach them everything I know.
Yep.
You know, because I don't want to view, I know we're in different areas, you know, but it's like, I don't want to view you as competition.
There's plenty of work out there.
Yeah.
Like so much work.
Yeah.
Like
how many million square miles of grass is there in the state of Colorado? And it's like,
and all the new housing being built, like there's so much work.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're full capacity anyways. He's got hundreds of, probably 300 clients we do. Like, and you're concerned about a 20-year-old trying to do something for himself.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I don't know his past and if it's just bad luck for him, but yeah.
Yeah, you know, if you're like, you know, new out there, or you're, you know, thinking about, you know, getting into lawn care, it's, you know, there are definitely resources out there if you don't feel, you know, comfortable, you know, talking to your boss or the person who employs you. 'Cause yeah, you know, like I could understand that, you know, like not wanting to tell them, 'cause that's your main source of income.
Yep.
And if they get mad at that,
there's grudges, there's a ton of things. And also because they found out I started my business, I had to sign a 2-year,
non-compete clause.
Non-compete. Yep. You know, I never would go to their customers anyways.
Which I don't even think you can like really enforce with stuff like this.
I just thought it was silly, and that was to get my last paycheck. And then I also, this is actually funny, I forgot, but I started a Google website, right? And I posted some pictures of lawns that I cut. Granted, they're his customers. Right. So no address, just the backyard. All you see is a gate. You can't even tell who. I can go get off Google. Mm-hmm. They reached out to me, take down those pictures or we're going to send a lawyer after you. I'm like,
who reached out?
The guy I used to work for.
Really?
They reached out. They're like, get rid of our customers' photos. You're using those for advertising. You can't do that. I'm like, it's just stripes. That's all it is. It was crazy. Yeah.
Was there any identifying information in the?
No. That's what I was saying. It's just a backyard.
Just clean cut grass with beautiful stripes.
Exactly. And granted, their mower was in the picture, but it was a little Honda mower, right? But there's no address. There's no uniforms, logos, none of that. But that's just the type of people they were. Super good people. Like working for them, but just, I don't know, just kind of petty.
Yeah.
So that's why I couldn't really do what I wanted. But, and it's actually funny too, cause I got a customer and, for $35, like I said, they're a little cheaper, and the customer a few weeks into mowing them ended up canceling. I'm like, oh, how come you canceled? Oh, we found another company. I'm like, who is that? XYZ. I'm like, oh,
your old guy?
Yeah, for $30. I'm like, wow, you son of a gun. It was such a good, nice lawn, super tiny, awesome, like the cardinal file, the whole deal, and boom. So,
well, you know, you're always going to run into the customer that, you know, oh, I found a cheaper guy. Like I probably lost like 6 to 8 customers this spring when I raised my rates, and you know, they're like, yeah, we found someone cheaper to do it.
Yep.
I'm like, okay. Like you try not to take it personally. Like there's a little bit of you that, you know, does take it personally. Yeah. But you have to understand, like they're doing what's in their best interest.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't
For their
blame them.
family,
I would do
yeah.
the same, right? Like,
Exactly. Hey, who doesn't want a deal?
yeah,
right?
exactly. And you know, I've worked for them, so I know their quality. It's less than mine, just because they have to do 40 lawns a day.
But it's not crappy.
But no, it's not bad.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool, whatever. But I just thought it was funny. You know, I don't care now. I've obviously passed that type of phase where, cool, you don't like my price, cool. And so I just move on. But I just thought it was funny.
So you said you went from about 10 to your first year was like 40?
About 45 customers.
45.
And I
just from like next door and
Yep,
stuff.
next door. That's it. I didn't do any paid advertising. That's pretty much all I did. No yard signs. Actually, funny story. I printed yard signs, probably $300-$400. Wrong phone number.
Oh, like completely, or just a number is different?
Yeah, so completely wrong number.
Oh,
Like it was off by one digit. I flipped it because it was a new number to me.
oh yeah.
And so when I was in the computer, like making the sign, I'm like,
they make you click that box like 3 times, like make sure everything's correct.
I thought it
is.
was.
Are you sure everything's correct? Yes, it is. Before you place your order, make sure everything's correct. Here's my card. It's correct.
I just got the business number, and so I thought I had it memorized, but I had it memorized the wrong way. So just a heap of them, threw them away. Oh, it's so sad.
Have you called that number?
No.
You should give it a call and see who answers.
I don't have the number anymore. But yeah, so that was pretty fun. So I never did yard signs. I did door hangers for like one day. Figured that was kind of annoying to do. But yeah, just really next door. Blew up off that about 40, 45. I did about $33,000 in revenue for just mowing and some aerations. It wasn't full time, but again, I wasn't sure.
Your first year?
Yeah.
Your first full year.
Yep. My first full time year, I did 33,000. 33? Yeah. 36. I think 36,000 in revenue.
That's better than $17 an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was, and a lot of that was reinvested, but like just having that, I mean, to me, that's an asset, right? Because now I'm doubling that this year. And again, I'm not completely full scheduled, but again, I'm prepping for the rain, right? I'm prepping for if I get injured, whatever the case may be, I can still, I'm not overwhelmed, rather.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you ended last year with about 45
customers, yeah.
And how did you lose any? Did you raise your rates, and did you lose them because you raised your rates? And how many do you have as of today?
Yeah, so last year, and this is what I'm changing going forward, but I had all those customers, and I literally called each one of them in beginning of April and said, hey, we're going to start the season here. Give us a call if you would like to be on the schedule still. So almost no one reached back out. And so I ended up starting the season with like 25. So I lost a lot of customers.
Dang, you did.
Yeah.
Almost half.
Yeah. So the first month, like I was actually pretty nervous because at this point I moved out on my own. I have bills. I'm like this, I don't have, like, I'm done with Amazon. Like, this is my revenue. This is
it.
Yeah. So I was very nervous.
Oh, man.
And this was like mid-April, and my revenues were only like $2,500.
So 4 short months ago.
Yeah.
You were like, what the hell am I going to do?
Yes. 4 months. Yeah. 4 or 5 months ago, I was like, I had that pit in my stomach. Couldn't sleep at night. Like, what? But then, and this is where mindset comes in. This is where personal development comes in. It's to me, I already have the end goal completed, right? That's how I think. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but it's already done. You
see your goal, and
it's already done. Okay. It's already taken care of. How? I don't know how. I don't have to know how, because that just being in that mentality, that mindset of like, whatever it is, it's already done. You're already that person with that behavior being done, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm already acting like that problem is solved. And again, before I knew it, May turns around, I'm doing $5,500 a month. June 65, July 10K. Like
no way. In
just,
2 months you doubled.
Yeah. It just, things got taken care of. $100 on marketing, and just phone calls just started coming in again.
So the grunt work of running the business and trying to grow the business, like phone calls of like marketing, like getting new customers.
No, like phone calls started coming in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like
from the next door stuff that you were doing.
Yeah, I did. I paid $100. Turn that off literally next week, but it gets paid per like month out, so it's still running for a month. But I turned it off, and just filled back to 40 customers. Okay, good. Now we're cash flowing a little bit of profit in the bank at the end of the month. Now we're chilling. Now we can focus on figuring out scheduling and all that. So yeah, it's crazy. So now what I'm doing different this year moving forward is assuming everyone's going to stay on the schedule. So mid-April, I'm just going to start mowing. Now they have to call me to cancel. So I'm starting at 60 clients. I don't care. I'm not doing this whole calling, leaving voicemails, and I can't get back to you, or like whatever the case is. So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So the middle of April, you're on their lawn mowing.
Yeah, screw it.
And if they didn't want you to cut their lawn, you're going to finish cutting their lawn and charge them for it, and then drop them as a customer. Or if they want to continue mow them the next week.
Yeah, I'm going to obviously send out an email, hey, this is when we're starting.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to assume they cancel, right? I'm not going to call them to see, hey, are you going to cancel or not? Who does that, right? No one does that.
You're inviting them to find someone different.
So now this year, I'm like assuming they're staying on.
So this spring 2023.
Okay.
You are wanting to start middle of April for mowing. Do you have any plans for things before that?
Yeah. So
as far as like, aerating, cleanups and whatever.
Yeah. So I'm still trying to figure it out to the science of like the exact strategy. So January, February, March, April. Yeah. So around March, I want to get into some spring cleanups. Some aerations. I want to get April booked out of aerations, and then transition into just full-time mowing in May. That's kind of, I think, the strategy. March, spring cleanups, scheduling for all of, because not everyone's going to want to be mowed in April, which I get that.
Well, most people don't turn on their sprinklers until at least Mother's Day, which is May.
Yep.
And like this past spring, like yards were bone dry for like 2.5 months.
Yep.
And I'm like losing money, because I'm like, I can't go on a yard that's dry and not growing and cut it and feel good about charging the customer.
Yeah.
So it was like most of my days, like I was getting done at like 10:30, 11 o'clock because there's just nothing to do.
Yep. And that's why I want to book out April of aerations.
That's smart.
Just book it out to where like, yeah, I'm starting here, but am I gonna mow? Most likely not. But this is the start date, right? And so, and then obviously if it's not growing, whatever, I'm not gonna cut it, but that is the start date. And so it's just better to have like a target than just like, hey, I don't know, maybe like first week.
Well, it helps you plan.
Exactly. And it helps the customer start to budget out.
Yeah.
Because I have customers that are like, how much? I'm like, it's about 27 weeks. You can calculate and see if this works for you. But yeah, so that's kind of the plan is early spring cleanups, like leaves and stuff, and then aeration, and then transition into
Are you doing any fertilizer, overseeding, anything like that?
Yep. So I have a package, ABC, so A package, B, and then C package, where it's like the A is mow, trim, edge, blow with aeration and fertilizer. No, that's actually my C package. Like that's the big package.
Okay.
And
the
then
deluxe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then the B package is just aeration, overseed, fertilizer. And then the A package is mow, trim, and then just aeration, whatever. I just have it kind of like that, just so it's easy. Like, hey,
one time, right? It's a spring service.
Yep.
Okay.
I call it spring services, and then it's just ABC. and then they just fill it out. They're like, I would like package C.
That's actually sounds pretty smart because you're doing the first mow of the season, first cut, and then you're aerating it and either doing fertilizer and overseeding.
Yep. So that's the big that's all of it. And then the middle package is just aeration, overseed, fertilize, and obviously they can customize it.
Yeah.
And then it's I forget exactly, but yeah, it's pretty similar to that.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good idea.
I'm trying to streamline it. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible to where when they see that
they
online,
go, yes.
Yeah, they're like,
I want this.
Boom, price is there. 125, 150, 175. Boom, and then so I can show you that after the podcast of like what I did.
Yeah, definitely. So with your pricing, do you do it based on square footage, or do you just kind of know the customer? Do you have, like, let's say someone, you don't know what their yard looks like, and they reach out to you and they're like, yeah, I want this, and this. Like what would your pricing be for that possible customer?
So are we talking about a one-time mow or a recurring type service?
Like let's say it's a spring service. They want aerating, fertilizer, overseeding, and you don't know what the yard looks like. I mean, do you have like do you do your pricing based on square footage? Do you drive out to the property to actually take a look at it and come up with a price then? Do you use Google Maps or Google Earth or Street View or whatever?
Yeah, so I do all my estimates besides cleanups, like leaf cleanups, spring cleanups, fall cleanups, those things, I schedule in-person appointments to take a look at it.
Okay.
Anything else is all online. I tell the customer it's by square foot, but I can just look at it and know. Like I'll measure it just to double check sometimes, but usually it's like, okay, this is within my parameters, so it's X amount.
Okay.
Now you're probably going to be like, what if it's super overgrown, right? I bite the bullet on that. I don't like to change the price on them when they've accepted an estimate because it's my fault for not going out there to double check. So sometimes I get bit in the butt where it's like, this is going to take a while.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can also do 100 estimates a day if need to be because it's all online. Mm-hmm. So I'd rather take the more efficient route than just driving out there, doing an estimate, driving out there, doing an estimate. So yeah, it's all online, square foot.
Do you feel like you come out ahead doing it the way you're doing?
Yeah, 100%. Okay. When you have,
I would assume you probably do because if you didn't, you'd probably change it.
Yeah, I would have to change it. But I mean, when you have commercial equipment, knocking out a 1 or 2 foot lawns with commercial equipment, it's really not that bad.
It still sucks, but it doesn't suck as bad.
Yeah. And again, I charge a minimum for like if it's one-time mows, because typically the one-time mows are the ones where it's like super overgrown, right? Mm-hmm. And so I have a minimum of $75. So I don't care how little it is. Like it will be 75. I don't care. If it's a one-time mow that I get called out, hey, I need you to come on my $75. Okay, cool.
Dang.
Yeah. So, cause I assume it'll take me about an hour, assuming it's super overgrown, whatever. But if it's super big, 125, right? 170. Like I don't, and yeah, usually I'm done within an hour on most projects.
Wow. So in the video that I did with you, you showed me the ramp rack sport, which I think is a phenomenal thing for a solo guy.
Yeah.
As far as equipment, like what kind of equipment are you using for? Because you do residential.
Yep.
No, any commercial?
Yeah, I have 2 commercial accounts.
Okay.
Yep, that I do weekly.
So what kind of equipment are you using out on the lawn?
Yeah, so I use I have a 21-inch Honda commercial grade
hydrostatic or
something like that. I have that one. That one's more to get in the smaller gates and or super overgrown because the motor's a lot stronger than my 30-inch X-Mark Kawasaki engine. Yeah. So those are the 2 mowers I use. Primarily it's the 30-inch X-Mark. As for the trimmer, I use a 94R steel. And then for my edger, I have a Combi System 131R. With the Combi, I do have the hedge trimmer attachment and primarily use it for the edging.
Okay.
Yep.
backpack blower or handheld blower? Or anything?
Yep. So I have both. I have the BR700, and then I also have steel, and then I also have the steel 86. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Steel 86 handheld blower.
And so you actually ended up just getting a pickup truck, right?
Yep. I just bought a new truck 2 days ago.
What kind of truck is it?
2012 or 2011. I have to look at again. I think it's 2012. 1500 Chevy Silverado. 8-foot, 2-door work truck.
Do you like it?
Yeah. I actually used it for the first time yesterday, I believe. It's not bad. No, today. Yeah, today was actually the first time.
Yeah, because it was raining yesterday.
Yeah, today. It's not bad. It's actually really, it has remote start, nice AC, very clean, 106,000 miles.
That's not bad for a 11-year-old vehicle.
Yeah,
10, 11.
106, remote start, AC works, nice radio. It's very clean inside, seats 3 people. Yeah, it's actually, it was a really good deal.
So did you take your ramp rack off of the old one and put it on this one then?
Yep, took it off my F-150 and put all my stuff on there.
How long did that take you to do?
Because it was raining, I took a tarp and screwed it into my garage, and then I put it over. So I have a ladder rack, and I put it over so I could
Did you take a picture of this?
No, I
would put it up right now on the video.
I might have a Snapchat video because I was sending it to a couple friends like, oh, excuse the tent. But no. So yeah, I did some tarp things so I could work kind of outside to drill some stuff and get it all hooked up. But yeah, it took me all day. Like it literally took me probably 7 hours to take off the toolbox, to kind of think about, can I work in the rain? I literally was in the garage just staring at it like, God, what can I do?
It was coming down pretty good.
Yeah.
Like for like 3 or 4 hours, it was coming down pretty good.
I was like, how can I want to work on this so bad. So it took me a while to think about it. And then I thought of ideas, and that's how it came to be. But drilling holes and measuring stuff and transferring, the ramp rack was kind of a hassle a little bit. I had to do some things. So it took a while transferring all my stuff from my F-150 to my new truck. Took a while, just all the crap inside. But yeah, it was worth it though.
Cool. So earlier you were talking about personal development, which I think is huge for like just growing as a person. Are there any books or podcasts or people you would recommend listening to, or whatever that you think might help people?
Yeah, so this is a great question. I'm actually really happy you brought it up. Like I said, I'm 22, and a lot of the way I think is because of I didn't always I wasn't always like this. I grew up with a victim mentality. I wasn't gonna go anywhere. I was in my mom's basement when I was 19. I gained a ton of weight, weighed 220 pounds.
No way.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. I was like really, I can show you pictures. It was bad. Lost all of it in 6 months, back down to 170 in 6 months, so 45 pounds. It was pretty crazy.
Holy cow.
All mowing. That's what the mowing does.
Yeah.
I lost all in mowing. It was like, I have transformational pictures, insane. But so I wasn't always like this. And one of the books that I definitely recommend, and you may have heard of it or not, but it's Rich Dad Poor Dad. I read that when I was 19 in my mom's basement. In that, like, I grew up super poor. And once I understood that the cash flow, buying assets, changed everything. So I would highly recommend that. For books, I guess, How to Win Friends, Influence People, Think and Grow Rich. These are more personal development books. So those are the 3 books. I'm trying to think of more.
Is there like a daily podcast that you listen to that you would recommend?
So, podcasts. So I listen to a ton of podcasts. In particular, I listen to a lot of real estate podcasts. There's not a whole lot on personal development podcasts. I mean, the information is, once you get it, you get it. It's pretty boring to listen to the same thing over and over. But just going into like business avenues, so Bigger Pockets, that's a good one to just start thinking like real estate. Business wise, I don't really know, because I kind of stopped listening to podcasts last year. I got into a lot of audiobooks. Is there audiobook that you
so
the E-Myth Revisited, I highly recommend that.
The what? E-Myth
Revisited. You need to read it.
Okay.
It's game changer.
Yeah, I'll put a link to that. I'll do some research on it and put a link in the description.
It's a great book. It goes about systematizing your business. And
E-Myth Revisited.
Yeah, by Gerber. His last name's Gerber. Michael Gerber.
Okay.
That's who it's by. E-Myth, another book. I'm listening to Work the System right now. I actually just finished that today. That's a pretty good book. It's about how like everything in life is a system, whether you like it or not. Everything works in a system. So implement it in your business pretty much. So yeah, there's a lot. I just can't think of them right now. But yeah, if you haven't got into personal development,
if you think of any after this, shoot me a text and I can put them in the description.
Yeah, there's
below.
a ton. But
doing lawn care, sometimes we're out in the field for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, maybe 6 or 7 days a week, and you could be listening to music, rap, whatever you want to listen to, or you could, put good stuff in your ears and absorb it. And
that's what I do.
And like change your life.
A lot of I'll go on YouTube and look up lectures and just listen to lectures. Funny story. I don't listen to music. I don't know. I don't have,
no taste in music.
I don't know anything about music whatsoever. When I say that, my friends are like, what the heck? I literally don't know. I read books, I listen to audiobooks, podcasts, lectures. That's all I do. Yeah. And that's honestly why I love mowing. During the winter, I don't really get into the audiobooks and all that because I'm just busy doing other things that I need my brain to think about. But when I'm mowing, that's when I learn the most.
Yeah.
So it's therapeutic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
It's you're alone in your thoughts when you're on the lawn.
Yeah.
And it's
the best ever.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the great things about being in this industry is, being outside and just being able to, be alone with your thoughts and listen to audiobooks or podcasts or, whatever.
Yep. Yeah, I love it. It allows you to, you just develop so much more quicker, I feel like, when you're listening to the right thing.
Yeah, totally.
Yep.
So what is the goal you have for the next 12 months, whether it's business or personal, just share what a goal you have.
So personal, I did just get recently married.
Oh, and congratulations.
Thank you. So with that, she has a ton of debt. So our goal is to get that knocked out in the next 24 months.
That's why she married you, is because she knew you were going to be a millionaire mowing lawns. And she's like, this guy can pay it off for me.
Yeah. So yeah,
I'm joking. If she listened to this, I'm joking.
So we're trying to get that knocked out. That's really our A1, just knocking out her debt. And then we're going to get into real estate in a couple of years once that's done. But for business, really, next year I want to do 150 to 200 in revenue. I know that's a huge jump, but
solo?
No, I want to bring on another guy.
It's totally doable.
Yeah, 100%. I've already done all the numbers. I know exactly how much I need to market. I know how many customers I need. I know exactly how I want to do it. So it's super exciting. Now I'm just kind of playing the patient game.
It can't come quick enough.
Yeah, it's just now I'm just kind of, what do you call it? Just coasting the rest of this season a little bit, just getting some cash ready. But really which is why I bought the truck, right? It's because I'm going to deploy like all of that next year, and do that. And then I obviously want to scale to $1 million revenue within 5 to 7 years. That's kind of like the longer term.
Isn't that crazy to think that you could be doing $1 million in revenue in lawn care?
I mean, it depends where you're at mentally, right? I never thought it was that crazy, but to some people it is. I think
me personally, I just never thought like something like that was doable.
Right.
Like, you know, it's like I was with a guy who was a $25 a week cut. Mm-hmm. And I never saw the numbers. You know, me personally, I'm just like, you know, I was making pennies compared to what I'm making now.
Right.
And it's just like, you know, trying to imagine like $1 million mowing lawns. Like who thinks that?
Yeah.
Like I mow houses in Denver that are, you know, over $2 million in value. And, you know, it's like, not that I want to do like a hey, look at me now. But, you know, like I don't want customers and neighborhoods and all that stuff to like look at the lawn guy as like, oh, the dirty guy, right. The guy who like not making any money. He's always like, you know, in crappy clothes and has crappy equipment. You know, it's like, no, I'm going to be successful and I can do $1 million. And I think that's an amazing goal, $1 million.
Yeah.
In 5 to 8 years.
5 to 7.
5 to 7 years.
Yep. I think it's totally
from now.
Yep.
So that would be your about 7th year.
Yep. And you know, the first 2 years it's kind of like whatever, because really I just want to figure out my CRM, logos and just a bunch of customer complaints and all that. I wanted to figure out first before I hire, right? Because once you get there, it's not just you that depends on the paycheck, you know, quote unquote. You know, you got to take care of someone else. So I really wanted to nail that stuff down and then really just hit it hard next year. So yeah, I think, you know, I think it's doable. At the end of the day, it's just numbers, right? So once you break it all down, you just need 500 customers, right? So
it's like what you were talking about earlier, how you have that goal.
Yeah, it's already done.
Yeah, it's already done.
I don't know how I'm going to do it. I really don't. But I'm that person that's already done it. So since I'm that person, it's going to make me to where I'm at now have to do what I have to do to become that person. But I'm already that person. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's super powerful to think that way. It takes a lot of development and like trust in yourself that you can do it. And you have to tell yourself every day, like, I can do it. I can do it. You know, you got to write your goals down. You just have to, because
visualize them. You're visualizing them.
Yeah. Because, you know, that's when you start using your subconscious, and that's what does all the work. It's your subconscious that does all the work. Mm-hmm. And whenever you're looking at your goals every day on your computer, you know, the sticky notes or whatever, vision board, you're subconsciously thinking of that. So whenever an opportunity arises, like the truck. So like, I didn't think, well, I thought, you know, number wise, but I didn't think, I was like, boom, pull the trigger, right? I didn't hesitate because I need that truck in the future to do what I need it to do. And so like, I'm already on a different level, and I'm not thinking about like where I'm at now, like financially, or, you know, where I'm at in personal life, because it doesn't, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Life goes on. So being on a different level just helps so much. And going back to what I was saying is like, when you've already seen yourself accomplish something, that's why you have what's called, you know, deja vu, right? Where like, I've seen that before. That was in your subconscious, like that, like you're thinking of a red truck, you're going to see it everywhere. If you're thinking of success, you're going to see opportunities everywhere. And that's what it takes to get to the next level. And so when people figure that out, that's an aha moment that it takes hours of personal development to get to, where you get this aha moment where like anything's possible. Oh, that's how life works. It's just doing that, the little things consistently. That's all life is. It's like, you're going to have bad days and good days, whatever. It's like, cool. And so I found that out last year, and it's one of my like favorite things to talk about, is that type of thing. Because once you understand that, there's no victim mentality. There's no like blaming others. Like whatever happens for a reason. Just go on. And so that's kind of why like $1 million, $2 million, $3 million to me is like whatever, because I'm gonna get there eventually. Obviously right now it seems like a lot, but once you get there, just like whenever you go from 0 to 100K, it's like, gosh, 100K is a lot of money right now. Once you make 100K, you're like, okay, cool, 200K.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, 500K. Wow, this is like, screw it, $1 million. You know, once you've put yourself there emotionally, it's like, why not 2 million? You know? So I don't know. It's just really fun to think about, and like, wow, life is fun. It's just a game. Just play it. So once you have that mentality, it's just kind of whatever at that point.
All right. This went a little bit longer than what I was expecting, but man, he's got some great info for sure. If people want to reach out to you, if they have questions or they want to chat with you about what you talked about tonight, where can they where can they reach you?
Yeah, so you can follow my Instagram at nomoworriesco. You can go to my website, nomoworriesco.com. You guys can check that out for a reference on how to build out your website or whatever you want ideas. You can get me on TikTok, No Mo Worries Lawn Care, I believe. Yeah, I think that's, and then my YouTube, No Mo Worries Lawn Care.
I'll put links down in the description, but yeah, I mean, you know, if you're listening to this and you know, you want to chat with Chris or, you know, ask him questions, you know, about maybe his the systems that he was talking about earlier, or, you know, just the mindset that you need to develop to grow as a person, you know, I'm sure he'd love to chat with you and, you know, help you out with that. So, all right, Chris, with No Mo Worries, I appreciate it. It was a pleasure chatting with you, and enjoyed it with you tonight. And, you know, hopefully we can continue this lawn care accelerator and, you know, have a Jan here again at some time.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
All right, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Go ahead and leave a comment down below on what you think of the interview with Chris here, and smash that like button, and we will catch you in the next one. Later,
guys.